Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are immersing ourselves in a success story that sounds, frankly, a little embarrassing.
Or really embarrassing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Cat Video Film Festival, an idea so ridiculous that even its own creator was, like, mortified by it at first.
And that's exactly why this is such a great deep dive. We've pulled our source material from this fantastic series called My Dumbest Success.
Right.
It specifically tracks people who took these, almost jokey ideas and turned them into something substantial, something meaningful
Profitable.
and profitable. So our mission today isn't just to tell the story. It's to really dissect the psychological journey, the strategic pivots that let this thing succeed against all
We
odds.
want to find the real wisdom hidden under all the frivolity. The centerpiece here is the organizer, Marcus Lee. And if you're listening, you probably have an idea or two that feels a little too small, maybe too silly to ever pursue. So we want to know how Marcus took this profoundly goofy concept and turned it into an international sponsor-attracting sensation. Let's unpack this journey.
Let's get it.
So the story begins, as I guess a lot of these ideas do, late on a Friday night. Marcus was working what he called a soul-sucking, draining office job.
The kind of job where you just check your personality at the door. We've all been there.
Totally.
Wow.
So his only real relief came in the evenings, just unwinding with friends.
And the source material paints this perfect picture. They're on a couch, passing a laptop back and forth, trying to one-up each other with the funniest cat clips they can find online.
Just peak internet culture, right? Videos of cats falling off stuff, getting scared by cucumbers, all of that. And after an hour of this, someone just says, we could literally do this for hours.
And that's the moment. That's when Marcus, half joking, just throws out, "Why isn't there a cat video film festival?"
And the reaction.
Everyone just burst out laughing. Not like a polite chuckle, but that deep, uncomfortable laughter that says, "That is the stupidest, most brilliant thing I've ever heard."
Right, there's a recognition in that.
Yeah.
And Marcus said that the next morning, the idea was still there. It was this mix of just deep embarrassment.
Like, did I really suggest that out loud?
Exactly.
Right.
But also this weird sense of stubbornness. The idea just wouldn't leave him alone. So he starts drafting a poster, just as a joke for his friends.
And somewhere between choosing the font and putting a date on it, the joke started to feel real.
But that tension is so key. He was constantly asking himself, is this a real project? Or is this like the kind of story you bury for life on a resume?
And the world did not help. The world was very quick to confirm all his worst fears.
Oh, it was brutal. Friends at his office job apparently called it the goofiest, most pointless thing they'd ever heard.
And the criticism went straight for the wallet, which is where it always hurts the most. It wasn't just, "That's a silly idea." It was, "Good luck selling tickets to that."
Even his mom was worried. She thought he was about to spend all his savings on something, completely frivolous.
That kind of pressure usually kills an idea right there.
But that stubbornness he mentioned just kept him going. He took his savings, not a fortune, but enough that it would really hurt to lose it, and he reserved this tiny indie theater.
Right. This is not some grand premiere. This is a place where if 20 people show up, it still looks half empty.
Totally. He set up a super basic website, and to get content, he was basically bribing his friends with free popcorn for their home videos of their cats.
It's so grassroots. It's almost painfully vulnerable.
And then came the low point, the part where, honestly, most people would have just quit. For 2 solid weeks, almost nothing, maybe 10 tickets sold.
Oh, that's rough. And he's already paid for the venue, right? He's locked in.
He's locked in. The embarrassment was, he said, physically palpable. He was already sweating the failure before it even happened.
And it wasn't just silence. There was active rejection, too. He'd call local press, reviewers, and they just wouldn't even call him back. A few smaller theaters he'd approached as backups explicitly told him they didn't want to be associated with a gag.
A gag? Wow. So the world was basically screaming at him, "You were right to be embarrassed. This is a total waste of time."
He said he was literally hours away from pulling the plug. He'd already drafted the apology email to the theater owner in his head.
So what stopped him?
Honestly, it sounds like he was more afraid of the public embarrassment of canceling than he was of the failure itself. He was kind of pushed forward by just trying to avoid a deeper shame.
Okay, so here's where the whole thing flips. This is the really interesting part. The breakthrough didn't come from any mainstream channel.
Not at all. It was a complete Hail Mary. a late decision, as he calls it. He decided to post about the event on this really specific, kind of weird, niche cat lovers subreddit.
Yeah.
The reaction was immediate, it was explosive. This community, which is, totally overlooked by the traditional art scene, they just jumped on it.
The post went semi-viral.
Within hours, people from all over the city were asking for ticket links, and by the next morning, the entire show was sold out.
Wow. It just raises this huge question, right? What happens when you stop trying to convince the skeptics and instead find the one community that's already starving for what you have?
You find your audience, the demand was always there, it was just hidden away in this one specific corner of the internet.
And then the dominoes started to fall. The local press that had ignored him suddenly took notice. A reporter wrote this piece called "This City's Silliest Festival," and it's sold out.
And that's how social proof works. The moment it seemed exclusive and popular, the whole perception changed. Radio stations started calling.
What looked like a huge public embarrassment a week earlier was suddenly the coolest, most ironic thing to do on a Friday night.
He basically stumbled into creating a cultural moment.
Okay, so let's get to the night itself. The very first festival, he described it as just
Chaos, honestly. That was his quote. It was the perfect storm of a brilliant idea meeting completely amateur execution.
the projector broke.
Twice. Just long, awkward pauses in the dark. And then, to top it all off, the popcorn machine, the one he used to bribe his friends for videos, it overheated
No.
and set off the fire alarm.
You cannot make this stuff up.
Right.
A total logistical nightmare.
But here's the magic of it. The crowd didn't care. They might have even loved it. It made the whole thing feel more authentic, less corporate.
So when the lights finally did go down,
Yeah.
and everyone started cheering and laughing together at cats falling off refrigerators,
He said all that stress, every ounce of it just melted away. That was the payoff.
and that's where the real utility of the whole thing becomes clear. People came up to him after the show, thanking him, not for the, flawless production value,
Surely not for those.
but for giving them a night to just be silly with strangers. The dumb idea created this moment of pure collective joy. It served a purpose no serious film festival ever could.
Exactly. It was about connection and emotional release.
So once you realize you've tapped into this real widespread need for joy,
Mm-hmm.
how do you scale it?
Well, that was his next challenge. Requests started coming in from other cities, people saying, we need this here. But he couldn't be everywhere at once.
So you had to scale the idea itself.
Right. And his solution was, frankly, brilliant from a business perspective. He created a festival kit. He productized the joy.
A turnkey solution.
Yep. Anyone, anywhere could buy this kit. It had curated video lists, guidance on licensing the content, promotional materials, a whole blueprint for how to host your own cat video film festival.
So he went from being a local event organizer to basically a business framework provider.
A huge leap. And that meant he had to learn really fast. He suddenly had to deal with real business challenges.
Things like bigger venues, corporate sponsors wanting in.
And the big one, complex international licensing issues for thousands of video clips. Think about the jump from worrying about 10 ticket sales to negotiating international usage rights. It's just massive.
Which leads us right into his final advice, the takeaways for you, the listener. He really emphasized that the biggest barrier to this kind of success is almost always internal. It's you getting in your own way.
His first point was, if you're having fun with your idea, no matter how self-indulgent it feels, someone else out there will want to have that fun too. You are not as weird as you think you are.
Second, and this is the hard one, don't let embarrassment bully you out of taking a risk. He says the whole thing would have died if you'd given into that feeling during those first 2 weeks.
And finally, his big realization. The world is full of serious, important, highbrow stuff, but what people are secretly craving is the joy in the idea that everyone else is too shy or too sophisticated to try.
That is such a powerful message. To recap the journey for you, an idea starts as a joke, gets rejected by the mainstream, but is then validated by a niche community. And it proves that, shared laughter can be a profound catalyst for connection and for business.
So if you're out there hesitating on a project because it feels a little goofy, this is your sign.
Go for it.
And that leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to consider. And this comes directly from Marcus's own reflection. He said, without a doubt, that he learned more about scaling, licensing, and event management in the first year of the Cat Video Film Festival than in his entire previous corporate career.
That's a huge statement.
It is, and it raises a really important question. Could pursuing your most seemingly frivolous or embarrassing idea, the one that has nothing to do with prestige, actually be the fastest and most effective way to gain real, valuable, practical business experience?
Something to think about. Maybe your own dumbest idea is the smartest move you could possibly make. Thanks for diving in with us today.